All right, welcome back to our interview with the Maine Bowler Blog with USBC Silver Level coach Jimmy Clark. I'm James Goulding. I run the blog. I forgot to give out the website address in the first segment, but if you want to check out the blog, watch this video, you can check out our YouTube page. Just type my name in or go to www.jgoulding.wordpress.com and that'll take you right to the blog itself. So, welcome back, Jimmy.
How are we doing, James?
Good. So, we talked about your evolution as a bowler, how you got into bowling, some of your achievements in the first segment, but I also want to get into the PBA Maine Shootout. Obviously, the PBA coming to Maine a couple of years ago for the PBA League, absolutely a huge boost to the economy in Maine, a boost to bowling in Maine. I saw an article from the Maine Business Insider that said that $1.5 million flowed into the Maine's.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, economic growth just from the PBA being here
For
each year. So that's fantastic.
4 or 5 days.
Absolutely. So, that's all positives for the state. And obviously a chance with some of us locals. I competed in the shootout this year. Obviously you did, and a bunch of other locals did. Scott Moore, who's on Brunswick staff with us, also competed this year, the last 2 years. That's Scott joining us this year. So let's talk about that. The first year you bowled in the shootout was incredible. That was 2 years ago. And let's talk about what happened there.
The first year the shootout came, it was pretty special. I happen to have a relationship with Charlie Mitchell, who's an incredible guy. He's done a lot for bowling in Maine and in the nation, in the world. Charlie Mitchell's a great guy. So anyways, I get to talk with Charlie a lot. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I get to talk with Charlie quite a bit and made it very very adamant that I wanted to be part of this. Like, if it was happening, I would like to have a piece of it.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be in and get invited. So I anteed up and I went in and I drew Anthony Pepe, who's an incredible left-hander.
Absolutely.
Probably one of the best shot makers there are. He's an incredible guy.
Very pure swing. Very great bowler. Great bowler.
He is. And I bowled in a couple tournaments with him in the NEBAs, the New England Bowling Association, which is the longest running scratch tournament, I believe, in USBC history right now. Anyways, great tournament. Very good scratch tournament. They influx, a bunch of different conditions for everybody. So you see the higher quality bowler show up. So I drew him, had a little history about him, knew that I had to bowl well. I shot 258. It's a good game. I lost.
Beauty of head-to-head match play.
Match play's nuts. So what do, right? I gave him a high five and said, let's do it again. Let's put on a show. Shot 223. Not a bad game. Lost by 4. So come out, shot, 4, maybe it was 223. I shot 481 for 2 games and lost. I was done. It was best of 3. So first guy to get 2 wins, he wins. I felt very defeated. And even though I threw the ball well, and lose is a lose, whether you bowl good or you bowl bad, I lost. It's defeated, but came back to tournament. So you had mentioned earlier, just a minute ago, I had way better fortune. I say better fortune this year. But I came back determined, come back into the tournament, was able to get into it again. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, PBA, for coming. Thanks for all the opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah. Before we get into this year's tournament, let's just say thank you so much to Charlie Mitchell, Bayside Bowl. Charlie's really an inspiration to every proprietator around the country. I believe
Proprietor of the Year.
Proprietor of the Year, Bowler's Journal, Proprietor of the Year.
He was
unbelievable.
Sure.
So, his vision to help bring the PBA here, we wouldn't even be talking about this tournament without people like Charlie out there. Yeah. So thank you very much, Charlie. Appreciate it.
The active owners makes a big difference in the game.
And we do have some great center managers and owners. Like Donna Bowden's another one that we
Andy Kuchar,
Andy Kuchar. There's some good people up here. So,
sure.
But absolutely. So, anyways, your PBA shootout this year.
So we come into the shootout this year. Little different hype. As much as I bowled well the first year, Scott Moore won the first year. He actually won 2 rounds. Beat Sean Rash second round. Sorry, Sean.
We love Sean here, by the way. So
yes. Terry Robinson actually beat Walter Ray. Sorry, Walter.
Earned Terry the name, the legend beater.
Yeah, Terry Robinson, the legend killer.
Yeah,
for sure. So, anyways, coming into this year, both those guys were back in the tournament. Bigger things were probably looked on them, whether it added pressure or not, I'm not sure. They're still not expected to win. No offense. We're bowling the pros.
Greatest in the world.
I drew John Zerbinski, Mr. Team USA. He's a stud, dude. He's awesome. And as far as my evolution in the game, as we talked earlier, I've worked with Mike Jasnow. Mike Jasnow had actually compared me to John Zerbinski, which is kind of an honor. So it was kind of awesome. I mean, I'm, bowling somebody who is a higher caliber bowler of me, but my game is something similar. So let's see what we can do. And first game I come out, shot 230. I lost. So here it is. I bowled a good game and beat both the other guys that were on our pair, but I bowled against the only guy that beat me on that pair. So it's like, awesome. So again, just as the first year, give him a high five, said let's do it again. So the next game I shoot 257. I have to double in the 10th to shut him out, which I was fortunate enough to do. Shoot 257. He still shoots 249, so I only win by 8. Last year I shot 258 and lost, so maybe 57 was the magic number, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So game 3. I honestly looked right at John after the second game and told him, let's do this again. I'm pretty happy I get to bowl 3 games this year. He had a little misfortune. I think he split early on. I had actually a pretty good lead until I missed a single. Actually, I think it was a multi-pin spare. But anyways, I opened in like the 8th, 7th, or 8th frame, which made it closer. And then he actually left another split in, I believe it was the 9th frame, which kind of made it a no-brainer, which was incredible. So once I marked twice in the 10th, it was awesome. I shot 223, I believe it was. He was 2-0. To move on to the second round. Yeah. Which now I drew Wes Malott.
Yeah. You go right out of the fat into the fire.
So yeah,
you
you've got
get easier.
Team USA to the Big Nasty or Strike a Lot. I don't care what you want to call the guy. Some say Shrek just because we bust it. Again, we're Portland Bayside. That's what we do. Nicknames is all that stuff. Even though the guy's got a brick. Whatever. So anyways, I drew Wes Malott in the nightcap. So, some of the local guys were on extra frames. They got to push me in the booth, you always, you and I, we like to joke about who gets who gets some of that extra. And I was fortunate this time. It would be next time, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I get in. I got Wes. It's the late night. It's Bo time. Bo Portland is always the late night. Have fun, get it going. So we got a tricky pair. Like, we watched Tommy Jones and Kyle Troop on that pair, and they struggled so hard. We were on 9 and 10, which can be tricky, especially when you get a lot of bowling on it. And lane 9 was a nightmare. We were watching Tommy, like, he would go 210, Greek Church, and just Kyle was trying to play farther right than him. And same idea. They could strike on 10, but 9 was definitely the tricky lane. Yeah. So we get practice session for our 10 minutes of warm-up, and it's me, Wes, who I'm bowling against, Walter Ray's on that pair, and then Oscar's on that pair. So instantly I got the best seats in the house because I'm watching them 3 guys. Sure. So we get bowling, and Chuck Gardner comes over, and we're talking a little bit, and he's like, lane 9, Tommy just got off, he didn't have an answer. Like, them guys are kind of in a wash with that lane. Other than throwing it great, one way or the other, you're kind of in trouble. So we bounced a couple ideas off each other, and I actually went to the bailout ball, the jab, on that lane, and it worked. Now, I had to keep it going to the right and throw it okay, but I had a little bit of miss. If I got it right, I could strike. If I got it in, it was a little different. But I had one way. Can't be greedy when stuff like that. Sure. So I find it the first game. I shoot 230. I beat Wes. I think he was only in the 180s. But he found it at the end of the game. Right. So these guys, that's what they do. They strike. They figure it out. Yep. I believe Jim Ferguson and him were chatting. They were talking, and then he figured it out. So next game, it was fireworks, man. We both started out 3-bagger. It might even been 4-bagger. Well, I missed first. I threw it bad on the left lane. I got it in my bad spot. I 5-count, through the nose, get 3.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Dude,
I was right behind your lane, so
and the thing is, it was a 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, which technically is not the hardest split in the world, but with a match like that, I talked with John Van Hees, and Jason Sterner. We had just talked so much about how pin count was huge. Yep, absolutely. When it comes down to it, 1 or 2 pins makes a difference. So being on strikes, 3 made such a huge difference. Absolutely. If I try to make it and I wish it off and I only get 2, I lose 2 pins. If I lose by 1, that sucks. So I 100% go for 3. I'm like, I feel I can strike. I'm getting 3. I'm going forward. So I get 3. He strikes. I strike. He strikes. I strike. Well, he pockets 7-10s. So now it's a new ball game. It's pin count. Well, take your chances. So we get up in the 10th frame and heavyweight fight, dude. I strike. He strikes. I strike. He strikes. I struck and he struck again. I mean, he only needed 6 on the fill ball, but on the tricky shot, I threw a 5-pound earlier. You never know. So he at least had to put it pretty close, and he did. So now we're 1-1. Heavyweight fight. It's just back and forth. It was so fun.
Yeah, it was incredible to watch.
It was great, and I had to try to downplay it so much. But anyways, so now Walter and Oscar were done in 2. Walter beat him, so now it's just Wes and I. Most of the other, there was only, I think, one other match going. So now it's like 10:30 at night. Everybody in the building is watching 2 matches.
And you got the locals pulling for you. Obviously, I'm sitting back there. Some of the other Brunswick guys are sitting back there watching. I mean, it was just an electric atmosphere. It was intense. It was fun to watch. You guys go into Game 3.
It was great. It was fun. Oh, man. And like I said, late 9 was the tricky one. So as we get going, we just both started, finished with a bunch of strikes. So we started off pretty hot the Game 3 again. But again, late 9 got a little tricky. So we leave some spares in there. But nobody's running away. We pretty much matched each other shot for shot going up. So when I step up in the 10th frame, so I went 9th and 10th frame, and then he had to finish in the 10th afterwards. So when I get up in the 9th frame, I got up to throw 3 strikes in the 10th, and I could have forced him to tie me. So that tells you how close it was. I was neck and neck. So I dead flushed the first one. Well, then I got that second one, just a little in that crazier. I had 210, get 1. But it forced him to throw a strike and then another really good shot.
Absolutely.
Which the year before, Wes got up in the 10th frame and had to do that, and unfortunately failed. Josh Blanchard benefited and ended up winning the tournament. Congrats to Josh. Unfortunate for Wes. So he got up in the 10th frame, and he dead flushed him. He goes dead flush, and then he league 10s. So, incredible match. I give him credit. Dude, they're pros. That's what you do. You give them a little bit, they're going to jump on you.
Every time.
I got a lot of credit from him. He definitely, pumped me up for even though it was a loss. He definitely built me up pretty good. Afterwards, I had Randy Peterson come up and was like, dude, that match was awesome. We wish you guys were 4 out of 7. Belmonte was in the booth. Fucking Jason Belmonte was in the booth kind of talking it up. Like, when Wes threw his 7-10, which I never even realized I played lane courtesy, how lane courtesy was being played out there on whose turn it was. So Wes left his 7-10, and I just hopped up when it was our pair's turn to go, and I dead nutted one and struck, just, blew it. And you hear Jason on the extra frames afterwards. If you don't have extra frames, get it. It's awesome.
Best $64.99 you can start.
Extra frames is killer. But anyway, so Belmonte's on there, and he's like, now that's how you do it. Your opponent leaves a 7-10, you get up and bang, throw that big double. And but that's just awesome, just to hear, these guys at such a high caliber to talk to you as that fellow competitor.
Absolutely.
So the shootout is just great. Even though I lost, everything that came out of it, the respect, the guys that were talking, the Brunswick guys, just information, everything from it. Any experience is great to build off.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And obviously, Ryan Simonelli ended up winning the PBA Maine Shootout this year. Watched everything from start to finish. It was incredible to watch. It was fun. Ryan's a great guy. So.
I believe Ryan was the only lefty in the top 8, maybe in the top 16.
Yeah, he may have been top 16. I have to double check that, but I know he was definitely the only lefty in the top 8.
He's incredible.
So it was fun to watch.
Top eye.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of covers that whole PBA Maine Shootout section. Very happy to cover that with Jimmy. It was a lot of fun. And so next segment, we're going to get into some pro shop stuff and Jimmy's prowess on the lanes as a coach. So we'll see you guys back in a few.